Well, hello and welcome everyone to a little bit of a different Minecraft video than usual. In this video I will be going through my favorite pixel art builds that I've done in the past. Since I've been doing this for over a decade, there is a lot to choose from. And I think I've made over hundreds, if not thousands of builds throughout the years. Sadly, however, I did lose plenty of worlds throughout the years in data transfer and other mistakes about data. So, for some of these builds, all I have to show are images that I posted on Reddit and Twitter at the time. And some are in the live worlds, which I still have, and I'm actively building on. And some of the builds I have done are outright gone. There's no world tour, no screenshot, or anything that exists out there that I know of at least. I will also not take those into consideration, since I will just not be able to show you these builds. Before we get into the first build though, almost all my builds are requested by viewers during one of my live streams while building these. Also, all the blocks are handpicked by me, which means that the colors might not have been the best option there could have been, as some programs can tell you exactly what to place where. But I selected the colors myself. Through almost a decade of experience, I'd like to think that I'm getting pretty good at this, but I'm still learning when new blocks are entering the scene as well. So all the colors are handpicked, there's no programs used apart from paint to zoom in on the image, and 100% of the blocks are placed by me. There's no world edit involved, there's nothing. It's all left and right clicks. These builds are not necessarily picked in an order of what I think of them, as my favorite pretty much changes every week and I love them all. But anyway, let's get into it. Number 1. Smog and Ornstein, Dark Souls. Where these did not take too long to finish. I believe only a couple of hours of work. I really like how they turned out to be. The Smog and Ornstein build is over a year old at this point, but it's still a great build. Where it did not take too long to finish, which I believe took only a couple of hours. I really like how it turned out to be. The different shades of yellow and some orange wasn't too tricky, but the end result is still very nice, if I say so myself. To add to this post gained over 1400 upvotes on Reddit, so I believe the guys on there liked it as well, which, that's more important. Number 2. Deadpool. This is the first build in this list so far which I actually have in a live world, whereas Smog and Ornstein was in a previous world, I believe the world before the current one that I'm building in. But this isn't a huge build. Don't get me wrong, it's still quite large. I love the detail in this. It's not the highest resolution, but if you look past that, it's amazing. Some of the shading, the blood splats, the blades, the outfit. I just love the entire build in general. There's not too much that I can say about this, apart from that I just love it. This build is also approximately 11 months ago, and this is also one of the builds that I have a video about on my channel. So if you want to check out the building process, obviously feel free to check out that video. Number 3. Hitman. This build is, if I remember correctly, the first build that took me 24 hours to complete. An entire day of just building. This insanely wide, but thankfully short enough to fit standing up straight instead of having to lay it down on the floor. I really prefer this look on the build with the sky in the background. I think it wouldn't have looked as good if I had to place it in the ground or on the ground. I'll take that as a victory. Like I said, it took about 24 hours to complete this one. Sadly, I have only the screenshot from back when I posted this on Reddit and Twitter, so the detail if I zoom in is not going to be amazing. However, it does have all of the blood splats all over him and the weapons, and I love the shading on his face and the detail of the darkness from the folds in his outfit. I really enjoyed building this one, and again, I love how it turned out to be. Once this was finished, I was so happy about how it looked. It's amazing. Number 4. The Pursuer, Dark Souls. Another Dark Souls build turns up on this list. However, with the Smog and Ornstein was simple and all, this is an entirely different story. Another one that took me more than 24 hours. I believe this was closer to 26 in total. An IRL friend of mine requested me to build this if I remember correctly, and I both love him and hate him for doing this to me. This build is huge. It doesn't necessarily have a ton of detail, like I would argue the Hitman has more of it, keyword being more. It's still massive in size. I love the sword, the cloth underneath his armor, some of the shading. It's just simply amazing in my opinion. Also, I used multiple coloring techniques in order to make it look as good as it did, and since I had to put it down on the floor, some of the techniques were pretty much easier to use than others. I didn't have to worry about it too much. Like I said, 26 hours and the use of multiple different coloring techniques, it's nothing to laugh at, but the end result is so good. It is so good, I love it. Number 5. The Disney Castle. Once again, a build which took 24 hours to complete. Trust me, the hours worked doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be one of my favorites. Even though it may seem like it, obviously. They're more amazing and more grand in the size, so might skew it a little bit. However, in sheer size, I think this is the largest completed build to date. Either way, this is my second most viewed YouTube video as of right now as well, I think. The first one being A Little Fox, which got blown up by the good old Spanish Inquisition. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. But either way, this is massive, and I love the image as well. However, the sky could have been, like, less. One of these blue sides over here took like 2 hours to fill in, if I remember correctly, which is insane. 6. Lineup. And the last one of this list is number 6. The biggest build I will be making to date, and probably for a long time. This 342,000 block large build is estimated to take me 72 hours in total to complete. I have no idea how long I've been working on this so far, but I'm currently on the sky phase. As you remember in the Disney Castle I just talked about, this will still take a while. I do have all the progress recorded though, and it's on the channel, if you'd like to check it out. And also, if you'd like to see some progress on the other builds, feel free to check those out. But anyway, this build is insane. It might not be the most detailed build in existence, and it might not be the most insane in like technical use and stuff, but this one will be my biggest build by threefold, where the Disney Castle was approximately 100,000-ish blocks, if I remember correctly. Yeah, with 342,000, that's 3 times as large, and when the Disney Castle took me 24 hours, it's estimated this one to take me 72. The only thing lacking about this, like I said, is the sky, which isn't the most detailed either. It just has some clouds and obviously some blue, or 2 different shades of blue. So I feel comfortable enough to just share this. Obviously, if you want to see the finished build at the end, feel free to either join in during the live streams when I'm building this, or keep an eye on the Reddit or Twitter or whatever. But this is pretty much as far as it'll get without the sky, which might add just a little bit extra. But that's the list. My favorite builds to date from approximately 3 years ago latest, if not 2-ish. Before that, all of the existence of those builds are gone, sadly. There were quite a few very interesting ones and ones that I really loved, but I just don't have a way to show you those since all of the footage and everything of it is gone for as far as I know. But yeah, like I said in the beginning, all of these builds, apart from the lineup, which is the biggest build to date, have been requested during one of my live streams while building the pixel art. So these were all suggestions of things people would like to see to be made by me, and I can't say thank you enough. So, once again, thank you. And what is your favorite build out of these 6? Or have you found a build that I've done which you think should have been on the list? Like, hey, why didn't you consider this one? Let me know in the comments. And that's all, folks. I hope you enjoyed this list. There will definitely be many, many more in the future. So I will see you in the next one. Until then, my dudes.